So this is part 2 of 3.3, and I'm going to start this problem over. I'm going to work it out first, and then I'm going to show you the PowerPoints that have the formulas that go with it if you so choose to do it that way. But the first thing that you want to do is write your matrix, and we're going to write the coefficients of x, and then the coefficients of y, and then what it equals. Remembering, or this is the coefficient matrix, this side right here, and this is, the whole thing is an augmented matrix. So what we want to do is get the identity matrix here. So here would be a 1, and here would be a 1. This would be a 0, and this would be a 0. And then we would have the solutions. So the first thing that we're going to do is multiply by 1/3. Multiply the top row by 1/3, making this 1. So I'm going to make my new matrix, and I know that this is not going to change, so I'm going to write it down. On this top, I'm going to say 1/3 times 3, which is 1, 1/3 times -6, which is -2, and 1/3 times -39, which is -13. So I've got my 1 in place. Now I need to make this a 0. Anytime you want to make zeros, then you're going to multiply your 1 by the opposite of what you want to get 0. So the opposite of 2 is -2. We're going to multiply row 1 by -2, and then we're going to add it to row 2, and we're going to leave it at row 2. So my new matrix is going to be, row 1 is not going to change, but row 2 is going to become -2 times 1 is -2, plus 2, which gives us 0. -2 times -2 is 4, plus 3 is 7. -2 times -13 is 26, plus 9, I think is 35. So now we've got our 1 and our 0, but now this needs to be a 1. To get 1s, you multiply by the reciprocal. So we're going to multiply by 1/7. Alright, so we're just going to multiply this, which means this top row is not going to change. So here's my new matrix. Top row is not changing. This is going to give me 1/7 times 0 is 0. 1/7 times 7 is 1. And 1/7 times 35 is 5. So now we want to get this to a 0. And what we'll do there is you multiply your 1 by the opposite of what you want to get 0. So since that's -2, we're going to multiply this row by 2, and we're going to add it to this row. And we're going to leave it at row 1. So here's my new matrix. This row is not going to change, because we're going to leave this row where we're going to leave our new stuff in the top row. So 0, 1, 5. 2 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1. 2 times 1 is 2, minus 2, or plus -2, is 0. 2 times 5 is 10, plus -13 is -3. So here we have our identity. this was our x, this was our y, and this was our equals. So we say x, or 1x, equals negative 3. Y, or 1y, equals 5. And that would be the solution to this system. Oops. Forgot we were on the PowerPoint. Alright, so here is the way they did it using the formulas. So there's the matrix we started with. We multiplied row 1 by 1/3 and left it in row 1. And this is what we got. So now we're going to turn this into a 0, which is exactly what we did. And it tells you here, we're going to multiply row 1 by negative 2 and add it to row 2 and leave it at row 2. And so this is what we ended up with. That's just the formula that you could use if you'd rather. So now we've got to get this to a 1. And to get a 1, you multiply by the reciprocal. So it's showing you there in the formula. Now we got to get the 0. And so now we can solve it saying, how do you know? It's the identity. What is the solution? X equals 3, y equals 5. Just like we said. Alright, solve the following. So first we write the matrix. 2, 7, 3, negative 2, 5, 6. We've got to get this to 1. So we're going to multiply by 1/2 by the reciprocal. That gives us 1. 3 over 2, 5 over 2. And the second row did not change. Now we've got to get this to 0. So we're going to multiply by the opposite and add and leave it there. So the top will not change. Negative 7 plus 7 is 0. Negative 7 times 3 over 2 is negative 21 over 2 minus, so I believe that would be negative 25 over 2. You might want to check my math. Negative 35 over 2, and that's going to become 12 over 2, which is negative 13 over 2. Again, you might want to check my math. Now we've got to get this to 0. So we multiply by the reciprocal, which will be negative 2 over 25. Negative 7 times 3 over 2 minus 2. Yes, that was right. Ooh, I think this is supposed to be 23 over 2. Yes. Okay. So we're getting this to 1. So we're multiplying by the reciprocal. I'm going to come up here. So the top's not going to change. The bottom, negative 2 over 25 times 0 is 0. Negative 2 over 25 times negative 25 over 2 is 1. And this times this would be positive 23 over 25. So now we have to get a 0. So we're going to multiply by the opposite, which would be negative 3 over 2, and add and leave it. So the bottom's not going to change, but the top will. So negative 3 over 2 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is still 1. That's negative 3 over 2 plus 3 over 2, which is 0. Negative 3 over 2 times 23 over 25 plus 5 over 2 is 28 over 25. So we would say that x equals 28 over 5, and y equals 23 over 25. So I'm going to put these back in just to make sure I'm right. So 2 times 28 divided by 5 plus 3 times 23 divided by 25. So I've done something wrong somewhere. And rather than try and figure out, I'd rather just start over. Or ask me about it in class, and we'll fix it in class. Alright, so moving on. Or actually, we'll see here. We'll see here what we did wrong. Okay. Oh, over 25, and I had 5. So that right there is where I messed up. Alright. So, moving on. Solve the following system on the calculator. So, first you've got to make your matrix. And then you're going to do RREF. And let me see if I can pull up the calculator. Let me try WABB. I'm hoping this is it. Oh no, that's not it. I downloaded it, so it should be. Should be. Let me pause. Okay, so I found it. So first off, you're going to put in your matrix, which you know how to do, and then you're going to press. There will not be enough time to finish this problem, so I'm just going to start it on the part 3 video of 3.3.